Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Anna and I'm an intuitive who helps conscious creators gain more clarity on their journeys. I'm so happy to have you here with me today. In this video, I'm going to present the energy update for the month of February, and we will discuss how to harness these energies in order for you to elevate your powers as a conscious creator. So let's dive in and unlock the secrets of February. The month of February is all about change. Change, change, change. Change is gonna come. I think there's like a song on that. So transformation, that is a big one for this month. So we're going to expand on that, of course. And also, I'm actually going to share the visuals and the symbols that I received. I drew them for you to see. So as I was receiving the message, I see this huge spiral. And boy, do we love spirals. Spirals are so rich in meaning. And I'm a symbol geek, so if you are too, you will understand. Let's talk a bit about the meaning of spirals. Spirals symbolize evolution and growth. They also symbolize cycles of death and rebirth, the cycles of nature. And finally, spirals are a symbol of creation. The color of this spiral was purple, and it had a wavy green on it, all around it, as you can see in the visual. So to me, the color purple means spirituality, and the color green means a cleanse, a detox, or I also say a growth period. So altogether, what this means for you is that you're going to experience an expansion, an evolution of your spirituality. The way that you understand and experience your connection to the divine is going to deepen. As a result, your spiritual beliefs, your beliefs about the nature of this reality will also change. And as a curious observer and explorer, you will start to also have a better understanding of how other spiritual beliefs form and change. Your overall view of spirituality and understanding will evolve and come together beautifully. So how can you use this as a mystic, as a conscious creator? Let's go back to the growth period and the cleanse. This cleanse and detox of energy might bring about old habits. And when this happens, use the deeper sense of connectivity to the universe to help you not get attached to these habits and not fall into them. You will see how the universe is there to assist you and to support you. And you will build more of a back and forth communication and trust with the universe. For example, I like every morning I go to the park with my dog. And whenever I get to the park, I always just connect to the nature around, to the trees, to the birds, and I communicate and feel like we're one, and I feel supported, and I get information, I ask questions, and I get replies. So as I went deeper into this vision, I started to see different objects. As you can see here, I first saw these two people. So these two people are actually the same person, and that's you. I then realized that this means that this change in your spirituality will come about from your relationship to yourself. You will see yourself for who you truly are. You will finally see yourself, the eternal self. You are going to be encouraged to put yourself first. You have the theory very well in place about putting yourself first, but this is going to be more about the practice, you know, the experience of actually putting yourself first. And as a mystic, as a conscious creator, putting yourself first is one of the most essential and important lessons. And why is this? That's because the relationship that you have with yourself is going to reflect on everything else in your life. So if you are very controlling with yourself and kind of just not allowing yourself space to breathe, well, then imagine that you plant a seed, okay? And you're so controlling with it and you don't allow it space, that seed is never going to grow. And it's the same with your manifestations, with your creations, with your projects. So this is why the way that you are with yourself is going to affect the way that you are with everything else. And this is why this aspect of your growth and change this month is going to be really important. So the practice, as opposed to the theory of putting yourself first, is going to start to feel really good to you this month. But first, it might be a little bit uncomfortable because you are going to have to put some boundaries with some people. And some people are going to start to ask you questions like, hey, like, what are you doing? You're kind of different, like, you've changed. But as long as you feel a sense of authentic love and peace coming from within, it means that you're doing the right thing. Sometimes spirituality and all this healing work is not just about being kind to others and smiling and being a little bundle of joy. Sometimes it's about having strict boundaries and discipline. And some people may not like that. But don't worry, because others are also going to start to settle down around you as you do this work. By coming in contact with your eternal self, you will meet the divine inside of you, and you will feel the connection with everything. The divine inside of you is the divine inside of me. The other area of your life that is going to contribute to the spiritual growth this month is your role inside your family. So I actually had my best friend send me this quote the other day about how if you think you're enlightened, go and spend some time with your family, which I thought was really funny and relatable. And that's because our family members are pretty good at showing us those unconscious reactions. So pay close attention to the role in your family that you play. For example, you could be the peacemaker, or you could be the misunderstood one, or you get the point. Look at the role and feel if maybe you have outgrown that role. And this can be really powerful because when you take a step back out of the role, you can see things from a higher perspective. So this idea of reevaluating your role inside your family is represented by these little people in this visual and the pyramid above. When I saw this, I thought it was so cool. I mean, first of all, pyramids are really cool. And I just thought, wow. It reminded me of the album cover of Pink Floyd. It's this idea of the prism reflecting the white light into the different colors of the rainbows. And I saw the different family members as kind of the different colors that are being reflected from the pyramid. And again, we have this idea of oneness because there's this, the same light coming in that's being reflected into the different family members. So it's this idea that you are actually one with your family members. You're all just playing different roles. And also, another thing that I find interesting is this idea that in different lives, we might have actually exchanged roles with our parents or, with our grandparents. Like your mom could have been your child in a past life. And in this way, the whole is being enriched by these different experiences in the different roles. Now, going back to you reevaluating the role that you are in, again, by stepping back, you can see things from a higher perspective and also understand that you and your family members are one. You're just playing out a drama. Well, it's not just, it's important. I think many times in spiritual circles, some people can take the magic out of being in physical reality or the importance of it, as if it's more important to be in spirit. While I understand that sometimes it's necessary to have that rhetoric because people put too much emphasis nowadays on the physical reality. However, I don't think it's good to kind of only put an emphasis on the spiritual world, because being in form is just as sacred and it adds to the whole, to the spirit world. It helps it evolve and experience things, which is beautiful. So in terms of reevaluating your role inside your family, one thing came through very clearly. And, as healers, as people that do the spiritual work, we all have this tendency of taking on the traumas and the burden of kind of having to heal everything from our ancestors, from our family. We take it upon ourselves to do all of that. But what came through is that we have to understand that everyone has a purpose within the family. Everyone has to do their part. And everyone does do their part. Even if they're not actually, spiritual. Everyone is still doing their part. So don't take all of the heaviness, the burden on your shoulders. You don't have to do it all. You are playing a part in it. After receiving the information and going through my notes, I had this insight. I don't know if you've ever heard about Chiron in astrology. So Chiron is this small planetoid that was discovered at some point, I think in the 1970s. And Chiron is known as the wounded healer. So I got this insight of looking at your, what sign Chiron was in when you were born. For example, mine was in Libra, so my Chiron is in Libra. And looking at that and putting it together with this idea of reevaluating your role in the family and kind of looking at where you are being, like how Chiron, the wounded healer, and the sign that it was in when you were born is affecting this role inside your family. So I'm going to make an infographic that I will put on Instagram that will help you decode this for you. So have a look on my Instagram. I'm going to put a link below. So this infographic will help you interpret the idea of the wounded healer within your family role. For me, for example, my Chiron was in Libra. And what that means simply is that it has to do with feeling isolated, separated. And it's true because even I have felt isolated and separated from my family, like physically, but also in many different ways. So that has kind of played as a main theme throughout my life. It's important to analyze this and look at it from the perspective of oneness, like the pyramid with the light coming in, and remembering that we are all one, that we are this white light coming in, but we're also the separate part at the same time. By looking at it from this perspective, there is not the sense of feeling victimized, but the sense of ownership. This sense of ownership gives you back your power as a conscious creator. So one of the last things that came through was a message from a spirit guide, my healing master, that I work with the most. So he said that through this time of change that can be quite overwhelming at times, don't forget that you only go through this once, and that it's important to find the joy in it as well. The enjoyment of being alive, of being in this separate form temporarily, and having this unique experience. So don't forget the joy. If you enjoyed this energy update and got anything out of it, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know what you resonated with, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.